You're listening to Author Conversations, a series of interviews with Stenhouse authors about their books, their teaching lives, and their work beyond the classroom. In this episode, recorded during the Mid-South Conference in Birmingham, author and literacy consultant Joanne Portalupi reflects upon the effects of standardized testing on writing instruction and how teachers can prepare students for tests by using real writing.
I think when writing process first came on the scene, when Don did his research, when the National Writing Project was first starting in the late 70s into the 80s, writing wasn't being tested at all. And when writing tests came on the scene, it was actually a good thing for writing, because suddenly we had all these administrators and teachers saying, my students are being tested in this. I need to get smarter about how to teach writing. I'm not sure, I want to make sure that they're prepared. And so for initially, and I'm really talking about when writing assessment came on that asked kids to write, not fill in the bubbles, but actually to sit down and write. And I know Ralph probably wouldn't agree with me if he were here, but I've always said that was a good thing because it turned people's attention to writing in a positive way. And the only way that students can score well on a test like that is to feel comfortable writing. Mm-hmm. And the only way kids can feel comfortable writing is if they are spending time writing and writing a lot. But it's been almost a couple decades since that time, and now the testing has become kind of a national frenzy. And so I do get questions from teachers a lot. In fact, after my session today, a teacher came up and said, I teach 6th grade, and in 7th grade they're tested on the 4 modes of writing. She didn't really understand the context of Writer's Workshop. She was trying to figure out, do I do assignment-driven writing to get them prepared for the test? And of course what I said to her is, if kids are being tested in 7th grade, you can't wait till 6th grade to start doing writing instruction. It's sort of like saying to kids, you're going to put on a big show, a big musical concert in 6th grade, and waiting until the beginning of 6th grade to give them a guitar. I mean, you wouldn't do that. So my short answer, and it's simple, but I think it's significant, is that the best way to prepare kids for the writing test is to make sure that they have a lot of opportunity to write. And that and for me personally, I think Writer's Workshop is the place, is the context for that kind of writing to happen. Because in a Writer's Workshop, what the teacher is really, your goal as a teacher is to teach your kids how to read their own writing, how to look at what they've done and filter it through some concept of what good writing sounds and feels like. And if you can teach them how to look at their own work and say, what am I doing well and what's not working, and then encourage them to go back into the writing, I mean, that's that recursive process, those kids will be very prepared in a testing situation where they are having to generate a text around even a prompt, if they are comfortable looking at what they've done and saying what's working and what's not working. Now, that's kind of a simple framework, and it assumes that we're talking to kids about all kinds of elements of craft, helping them to know how to develop ideas, how to shape their ideas, how to read for the conventions of language. But all of those things, I think, are best taught in the context of real writing, as opposed to instruction that is designed to kind of replicate the test. And that's part of what I sometimes see teachers feel. In order to prepare the students for the test, we need to give them a lot of practice at the test writing. The testing situation is going to ask kids to, it's kind of an artificial activity to sit down, have somebody give you a prompt, and figure out how to write about it. So you have to give them a little bit of practice, or talk a lot about, how do you read a prompt? What do you, if kids aren't used to being timed, some states have timed tests. You have to talk about how to pace yourself. I mean, whatever skills you think the students need for that specific testing situation, you want to explicitly teach them so they're prepared. But to think that we need to prepare them by giving them practice from September until, over and over and over again is really, I think, missing the target.
To learn more about Joanne's work, visit us online at www.stenhouse.com or contact your local Stenhouse distributor. Thanks for listening.